listening to The Downside.
The Downside.
With Gianmarco Soresi.
Matteo, people have been wanting you on this podcast for a long time.
I know, I'm excited.
A lot.
I'm like Cher. I'm always on my farewell tour for like 7 years. So now I'm done touring.
Yeah.
So now I finally have time to like, sleep.
Sure.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy the Barrymores, the segments, the short TV segments? Is it stressful?
Like for local cities?
No, like you just did like a big press tour. You did like all the shows. You did the Barrymore. Is it stressful to get it all to make a moment?
No. I'm doing the Today Show tomorrow. And I do The View Thursday.
You're doing The View.
Yeah, and they called today for like the pre-interview. They were like, we're so excited to have you, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh yeah, I watched the show. And then I said, do you watch the show? You don't watch the show.
I see every time I see the clip where Biden goes like,
help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where Kamala says, I wouldn't do anything differently. So if you're happy now, you should be happy
Good
later.
one, Kamala. I voted for her, but she really fucked up.
Yeah.
No, I told them, I was like, well, I'm really afraid of Sunny because she prosecutes at 10 a.m. and I think it's really inappropriate. Like, you could cure cancer. And she's like, but 1982. I'm like, you are unpleasable. So I'm going to tell her on the show, I'm afraid of you and I won't answer any of your questions unless I have my lawyer with me.
That's good.
Yeah.
But I'm Italian, but you make me feel like I'm not in a personal way.
Yeah.
But you're so Italian. But your mom's
Italian.
half Italian.
So I'm Italian, Mexican, and Irish.
Yeah.
So my dad's just like white, not Irish, like tatar, like just like just white, but of Irish descent. Like his whole family's Irish. Then my mom is Italian and Mexican, but are we recording now?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Because my grandfather, who's Mexican, his name was Joaquin Maldonado, had 5 kids with my nonna, so my mom being one of them, and then he had 5 kids with another woman and named all of them the same name so he didn't confuse them. So then my grandma divorced him and then remarried a Sicilian. So by the time I was born, that was my grandfather. Like, he raised me. I'm like, I know all my family in Sicily. So
I see. So that's why it's so strong.
It feels very strong because my like dads who talks to their dad's family. So like my mom's family is like, I grew up on the same block as all my cousins. Like we're always together. So culturally, I just feel very Italian, and I look for some reason very Italian.
Sure.
But I am.
Do I look Italian to you?
Yeah.
What about me?
Your shape of your eye.
Really?
We have the same eye. Well, mine are more droopy than yours. So you must not be from Naples.
Sicilian, so I'm told.
Okay, so you're told.
There's a I don't trust anything this guy says. It was
Who's this guy?
My father.
Oh,
you
okay.
know,
Yeah.
my great grandpa Luigi. I know that's real.
Yeah.
And there was a pasta called Soresi pasta, and it's shut down. But
Smile. So it is like means.
That's what my dad said. He says comedian Soresi. In Italian it means smile, or in Sicilian it means smile.
It's Italian, like una soresa, like sorride, like to smile.
But is it the equivalent of if someone's last name was Smile? That'd be weird.
So close enough. I mean, if I heard your last name, I'd be like, Smile.
So it's a pasta. There is a pasta brand. I've seen the ads. It's
with your last name on it.
It's Soresi pasta.
It was shut down.
It was shut down.
Yeah.
For why?
Mafia.
Yeah.
Mystery.
Yeah.
But my dad, he basically, as a kid, he said like, he would say, "Don't ever get in bed with the mafia." Like this was a pressing.
Did you grow up in The Godfather? Like, what is like?
Yeah,
no,
how
he just loves it. He just.
But was he? I mean.
But the thing is, I learned that my great grandma was from Spain. I just think.
Oh, you're Spanish?
I guess so, but my dad's never
What is
said.
all this guessing? How do you not know?
Because he's a liar.
Oh,
all he cares
Italian.
about is the paternal. He just cares about
Italian.
his great grandpa Luigi. He probably couldn't even tell me my great grandma's name. I don't even know. But he talks about him. So I know there's just that attraction to the Italian.
Well, you look Mediterranean
For sure.
You look Italian. Like, I'm not shocked
this
that
is
you're
Jewish.
Italian.
This is Jewish.
But that's a fine line. You can't really tell between a lot sometimes. It's either like Italian or Jewish, especially in New York. But your
Sure.
eyes read Italian. We have very like the heavy eyelid, but mine, I have the thing that they have in a lot of places in Southern Italy where my eyes just droop off my face. I always look, people are like, are you tired? I'm like, I'm wide awake, thank you.
Tell me which part of him are Mexican.
I wouldn't know.
Are you uncomfortable?
I've never been to Mexico, so
Okay, like you've never seen a Mexican.
You've never
Let's
seen a
just
Mexican,
start.
Russell.
I don't see No,
Yeah.
Sure.
Some of my friends tell me, my ex used to tell me when I was like 22, he's Panamanian. He's like, every once in a while, he'd be like, I can see you're Mexican. But I don't look anything like my Mexican family. I mean, they look proper, like everyone's very dark. And
What's
like,
the percentage?
I'm a quarter.
Quarter.
But my brother has my Aunt Cindy looks full Mexican. It's weird when you're biracial. Like my mom and her brothers and sisters, some look very Mexican and some look very Italian. So my mom looks like my grandma, but much lighter, green eyes. Like the features look Italian. Then my Aunt Cindy, whose same parents, looks 100% Mexican. And when we were kids, even now, everyone stops her and speaks Spanish to her, like just like 100% Mexican. And then I look just Italian. I look more like my Aunt Lisa, who looks very Mediterranean.
Sure.
Like when I go to Italy, if I don't speak, no one thinks otherwise.
And so you've been going to Italy a lot.
Yeah, I first time I went, I was 16. I think 15, 16, 17, something like that.
What do you like about the culture? Were you going Rome? You gave me a Rome Rex.
Well, first it was Sicily because I would visit like family and family friends. I have family friends in Messina because my family's from Montevago, which is like a tiny town. So the history is like there was an earthquake and then that was it. And so in Messina, it's like on the sea and there's bars and you can hang out. You can go to the beach and stuff. So I was always with like them. So we call each other cousins, but we're family friends. But it's like whatever.
Yeah.
So I was usually in Sicily. I didn't go to northern Italy till I was like 21. So that was like culture shock to me to go to northern Italy. It was so opposite of Sicily to me.
Do you feel the political landscape? Like all I know from Italy, because I'm going to do a show in Milan soon.
Nice.
And I always do a
At
little
the
bit of research.
What's it called?
I'm not sure.
I'm sure it's the same place we've all performed at.
Oh,
which
yeah?
is where I first met Francesco DiCarlo.
Yeah. It was last time I went. It was a good show. It definitely of many of the European places I went, it was the most like foreign in terms of like they just didn't as many English speakers, which was fine.
They clap a lot.
But they do this thing where they bring up the lights when they clap. They kind of bring it up a little bit, almost to prove that everyone's there. It's like it's a strange thing, but it can ruin the flow of a joke.
Oh, it's all ruined. But I just did a show in Rome at Giovanelli, which is like a very nice theater, and they were so. I mean, I have a different relationship, I think, with an Italian audience only because like. I have my third largest following is Italy.
Wow.
Sure.
So, I can speak Italian to them and they were so sweet. Like most of the shows I did Spain, I did France, I did Ireland, I did Germany, I did, but after the shows in Italy, the whole audience waited. Like I went to had a cigarette with Francesco, like we're hanging out, we're chatting with our friend. Like it was a full half hour. We leave the theater, the whole audience is waiting to take photos with me.
Wow.
And they were so sweet, and everybody said the same thing. They were like, in Italian, they were like, "Oh, thanks for bringing like a New York comedy to Italy," and they're very nice. I think that there's something interesting about for them the same way Francesco's interesting to American Italians is like Francesco's actually from Italy, so American Italians, it's like they find it interesting to see what's actually happening in Italy through an Italian's eyes. And then for the Italians, as an Italian American, they're interested to see, like, it's very rare to have someone speak Italian. Like, they always, my parli così bene l'italiano. Like, they're always so surprised at how well I speak Italian.
So you're doing your full set in Italian?
No. It's like, I would say like a quarter Italian, then like the rest is English. But you just kind of go back and also you can kind of tell when they don't understand something. So you just translate. You're like translating for yourself on the fly.
Wow.
But they're such good audiences.
With their so we got Meloni. Giorgia Meloni is the prime minister?
Sure.
Of Italy? Is I just could like if are they culturally conservative? Are they culturally like how does it compare to America? How is gay rights in Italy? Is it like the same situation as America, or does it feel more?
I would say they're a little behind only because the Vatican, they're a very religious country, and so you have a split like the North and the South. The North tends to be more open, and so a lot of gays move to Milan, or they're in Rome, or they're in the North, and then in the South it's a bit more closed-minded. But I don't.
Were you Catholic raised?
Yeah, I'm Italian, Irish, and Mexican. What possible else could I be?
Yeah.
That was my only option was that. But we weren't like super religious. I think a lot of like Catholicism just bleeds itself into Italian culture, and so it bled into our lives, which is like feeling guilt or having a difficult time accepting pleasure.
Did you go to confession?
No, I didn't want to get molested. But
sure. What about when the Pope died? Is that something that was you remember the day?
No.
It was just the other day.
No, not that Pope.
Oh, the John Paul, or the Polish one.
Do you remember the day you found out the guy who was going to die any second?
Well, was it John Paul? Right? Was the
last one retired? Right?
Well, the German one had
The
to
German
go because
one
he
had to
was, and my grandma said she was uncomfortable seeing a German on a balcony, talking to thousands of people. So no one really liked him. Also, I do think like the fact that he was so creepy looking, like it felt very Emperor Palpatine.
Yeah, I feel like people liked that one before, and then they did not like the German one.
Yeah, I mean, you could almost fill in, so be it, Jedi. I mean, it would make perfect sense with him.
Yeah.
He was the one who was the Nazi youth.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he was kind of ugly. Like I remember.
There was just like whatever's happening on the inside certainly permeated on the outside,
Yeah.
you know, because someone who looks like that, if they were sweet, I don't trust that.
Yeah.
No.
If I had been the Nazi youth, I would never raise my hands above my shoulders.
It does.
Yeah, I would
look
break
like a
my
Star
shoulder,
Wars
dislocate
villain.
it, so it never would. Yeah, that's very Emperor Palpatine right there on
Yeah.
the right. Especially the prequels. Like, you know, if you look at Emperor Palpatine in the prequels, you'll see the exact same thing.
Also,
He's almost
a little
wearing the
bit
same
like.
outfit too.
It
Yeah.
is. I mean, there's a lightsaber somewhere.
Also,
hidden in
there's a
there.
world where you could see a little bit like Jim Henson, the darker kind of like Dark Crystal kind of like character. You know what I mean?
I just think straight up Muppet.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Just
Yeah.
that's a Muppet. But yeah, I don't know. Like they announced the Pope the other day, who's from Chicago, and everyone was messaging me like, "Are you proud?" I'm like, I don't care.
Did you know him?
No, how would I?
How
have
would you
known
know
He
him?
grew up in the suburbs of Chicago.
Yeah, I
Okay.
did. But I mean, so did a lot of people.
Who knows though? Maybe.
I don't know where
You
that.
grew up in Potomac. Do you know the Real Housewives of Potomac?
No, because they're all from Baltimore, and that's
No, but
why.
there was a girl. I was somewhere where there was a Real Housewife, and I was texting Rosebud Baker because she loves the Real Housewives, and then she was like, "Follow her and tell me everything." And so I'm just like following this woman. I had no idea who she was. I can't get into the Housewives. It's just
He's
too
into
stressful.
it.
No,
I
I'm
did
not.
it. I did stand up for
liked,
it once.
I liked.
What do you
the-
mean you did stand up for it?
So it's early stand up. Someone said it's like a live show for the Real Housewives. I was very confused, but I said yes.
Sure.
I got high before. Big
Yeah.
mistake. So basically, it was somewhere on 23rd Street, a club environment. One of the exes is French and was doing stand up for a little bit. He did spots at like Gotham or whatever. So they put on a stand up show so he could perform for the Real Housewives. So he did a show in front of all the Real Housewives of New York, and they're sitting there. There's no audience.
Yeah.
They're sitting there eating.
Was this
all
being
the cameras,
recorded?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
All the
Yeah.
cameras are on them, kind of talking to each other while we perform.
Yeah.
Desperate
And
to
it's
have
like-
one crew
and then
member
it's
laugh.
cutting to the comics, and it's they're trying to play up that it's not going well and no one's interested in the comics.
right.
Thank
you know?
God they showed half a second. I didn't like get a full line out.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to one of them who goes like, "Yeah, there wasn't a lot of energy at that show," and I'm like, "Fuck you."
Well, they're so high. How would they know what's going on?
As was I at the time.
Listen,
Yeah.
I will say that it's not. I used to like it. I thought early on it was funny, but everyone's so boring now. They're all influencers. It's so boring. Like it's like
I think
not.
that happens with a lot of franchises on reality TV. Is they become self-aware that they could possibly brand
But even
themselves.
the new ones that they find, there was a time
They find.
there was a time where they weren't thinking of like, oh, how's this going to come across,
Right.
or how am I going to be seen,
Right.
And so you got some real gems of people who are fucking
They're
messes.
coming on the show with reps already.
yeah, and so it's so boring. It's not.
Yeah, I don't know. It's too dramatic. I just
Yeah.
don't watch anything with drama. I'm like, it's enough. I'm emotional, and
Yeah.
I just get stressed out easily.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was there a time that you were watching reality TV?
Well, I watched the first 10, 12 seasons of Drag Race. That was
Okay.
really fun, especially because two of my friends won it. So I was
Oh.
watching Bob won and Monet won, and
Cool.
I would watch those seasons. And it was different at the time because it was up and coming, the show.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
you
yeah.
felt like you were part of something collectively, like feeling something grow and watching your friends get on the show. But now I can't even catch up anymore. Not that I don't like the show, it's just it's season 800 and I'm like, I don't even know who. I can't keep up anymore, and like, I'm here to slay. I'm like, all right. I don't know.
Did you ever do drag?
No, I did drag. Well, I've done Liza Minnelli. Yeah. Bob dressed me up as Liza Minnelli to do. And you know how they do like 73 questions with Vogue?
Uh-huh.
So I did that with Liza. We have it on YouTube.
We have Liza here.
Oh,
on this
she's
candle.
so fun. She's wonderful.
Have you met her?
No. But I mean, I saw her. I did see her on Drag Race, which how they edited that together to keep it seem sane. But
I saw her
Oh,
in
yeah,
high
she's
school.
still alive.
When
Oh,
I went
yeah,
to,
yeah.
Oh yeah. When I went to a musical theater summer camp in New York in high school. Long
none
time
of this
ago.
shocks me about you, by
And-
the way. Do you sing?
Yeah, I'm getting back into
He's
it.
getting back into
Okay.
it.
I kind of hit a wall. Now I have a new teacher and I really like him, so I'm getting back.
What are you learning?
Just musical theater stuff. I started like a new show where I have people on. We talk
Are you
about
a
their theater
baritone
kid days.
tenor? You're not a bass.
No,
a
not a
baritone.
bass. Baritone.
Baritone. So
Baritone.
what are you? Your
Baritone.
highest is like a G?
Well, I'm working on it, Matteo, and it's getting up to that A flat. No,
Oh,
G.
yeah,
Oh,
you're
A
a
flat's
singer.
great. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's an incredible singer.
Yeah.
You have talents. If I had the talents that you had, there's no way I would be doing stand-up comedy.
Well,
Why not a singer? Isn't it amazing? Don't you love it? You sound so. Your opener. I've so talk about your opener all the time. If I were to.
oh, my old
Your
joke.
old opener, because when you're starting comedy, and you go, "What's that first joke that gets them?" And you would sing Il Bambino.
Oh, mio bambino caro. That was the first joke that ever, like, when you're doing open mics and it's just a fucking mess.
Shit.
That was the first joke in 2012 when I moved to New York that I remember I was in the basement of the Creek and somehow I got called into, like, the first group, which was very
That's
rare at the
crazy.
time.
Yeah.
And I remember it was, like, Michelle Wolf and Michael Che and Mark Norm, like, all those
Crazy.
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
And so, I went up and, oh, mio bambino caro. You know, I sing like that and then people clap uncomfortably and I say, that's a true story of how it came out to my dad. And I use that opener for, like, everything.
I mean, it's such a good. I wish because when I started, I did the Creek in the Cave open mic like 2 years before I really started stand up.
What year did you start stand up?
Like really, 2017.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
but
What about you?
Oh,
No,
I don't
he
do
does.
stand-up. I do
sketch.
theater and sketch.
Theater and sketch.
No,
Awesome.
he's now officially been on the Tonight Show 2 times.
Yeah.
There you go.
2-0.
Congrats.
Yeah.
Did you do stand up as well?
He
Second?
Did you stand up?
Yeah, I do stand up now. I'm like 5 years in.
5 years in. Okay,
more
wow.
or less.
God, I started in 2009. I feel so old.
no. I mean, I was doing acting before that.
Yeah.
You know, but
I was singing in strip clubs.
really, like Fosse,
No,
with
not
dances.
that nice.
Like
it wasn't
singing
like
opera or
No,
or
I was used while the drag. Well, they
I
had
was like,
drag
wow.
queens, and we would go to different strip clubs in Chicago, and they had dancers and singers, and we would perform in between the strippers, and so it
Did
was.
people want that?
No, but we just got a chance to perform. So it would be like a drag queen, and then this one drag queen, she kept saying, I have a 50% chance of getting on RuPaul's Drag Race. I'm like, well, then so do I. And then one of the strippers had a tattoo on his chest that said "Never give up," and then I would go up and sing like Mariah Carey in between, and we did that for like a couple years.
Was this a gay strip club?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So were they digging it at all?
No.
Are you getting
Oh.
tips?
No,
No, because you're not.
we would get wasted, and my friend and I would just steal drinks from the basement.
How
Yeah.
nude? A full nude?
No, just a thong.
Just a thong? Because it's different.
Or like a jock strap, what typical gay go-go boy
Sure.
strip club kind of thing. Yeah.
Because we did a strip club in Portland.
Those are good
That's
there.
a vegan
I mean,
strip club.
but that's full.
Same
New
in
York.
Montreal.
Really?
I was in a gay strip club with Reese Nicholson, Solomon Giorgio, and Trixie Mattel in Montreal. We were like the last 4 left in the festival, and we're like, let's go out. And we ended up at some strip club, and even Trixie was like, "Oh God!" Like they get full nude.
Are they? This is graphic. Are they getting hard? Do they?
Some are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's. I wonder if any. Or do sometimes people
Drugs.
for porn they do the shots or they do the drugs just to stay hard.
I mean, I don't know about that, but I will say it's like when you're sitting at that kind of strip club, it almost has the same energy like when you're in an elevator. Like you feel like you're not supposed to stare at somebody. Like it feels
really-
rude. Like
it
I don't
really-
know how to.
We were. I was saying that to you. I was like, it's this weird thing of like you're like they're doing it for you,
Yeah.
but it feels wrong to stare too long.
Yeah.
just at it.
Without giving money too, you go.
you
Well, I
give
stare
the
another
money.
20 seconds. I got to give some more.
Yeah, it's a tricky thing.
But some people are very comfortable. I'm not comfortable around strippers, even though I like them. I love staring at them because I think they look amazing.
Yeah.
But I just get shy.
Well,
Really?
also when you're in a group thing, it's like in your head you're like, this will be better in a group, but then you're sitting next to you.
Well, gays don't give a shit.
and,
I mean,
and like
sure.
our producer.
Yeah, I was sitting next to our producer, not Lucas. Lucas would be having a great time.
Yeah.
But like,
I was with Bob
My
the
number
drag
one
queen in
patron
Mexico,
over here.
and he was running around like a madam, just with money in his hands, and all of them following him.
my
Like
God.
it was, yeah.
Yeah, it was like Paige, our producer. Then this stripper just like pushed to Gianmarco's.
yeah.
chin.
It was.
And how do you react in that moment?
in that moment?
You do wash your face when you get home, yeah?
No, I
Got it.
should get to that. It was a couple weeks ago. No, I think in that moment I'm going. My girlfriend Tova, she always goes like, "You can go to strip clubs," and I'm like,
Totally
"I
seems
don't."
cool. It doesn't seem like she'd give a shit.
I think she'd give a shit.
I think you handled it well. You were like this. You were like. You
Don't
were like-
breathe in.
You were like, I'll give her more of the chin.
What more could I do? I wasn't like.
yeah, you weren't.
Well,
like,
I have
Yeah.
to say, I love strippers and go-go boys and all. I think it's fantastic. It's a kind of confidence I could never have.
absolutely.
I think it's amazing. I'm not saying that to like. I love it.
No,
Yeah.
hold on. Like,
I- the
you
ones-
post online your body. There's a confidence in your body.
Yeah, but that's also like a photograph, and it's like I don't know. I couldn't get up on a table and just be.
Really?
It's almost like when Barbara Streisand was talking about. She's like, I can't sing in front of other people unless it's on a stage. She goes, I was at a party with Liza Minelli, and Liza will get up and sing and dance. She goes, I just don't have that kind of confidence to do it.
What I was thinking about Liza, I saw her in this concert when I was in high school, and this is way back then. I remember feeling like we were all doing her a favor by being there. She was so old already.
Yeah.
And the fact that she's still chugging along is incredible to me.
I'm a hoofer. So she said once.
When did you first learn about Liza? What was the first
It
you
was
saw
right
her?
before 9/11. She was performing at the Michael Jackson 30th anniversary special. She had just
Wow.
recovered from brain encephalitis, and she was terrible. The performance was horrible.
What'd she
But
do?
She's saying, "You are not alone. You are not alone. I am here with you." And but I didn't. It wasn't like Liza in her prime by any means. But there was something about her. I was like, I'm attracted to this woman. And then the next day, 9/11 happened. But I got back to her.
the next day.
For me,
Wow.
it was that's
It was around the same time.
What a
By the way,
memory.
Keith Robinson was at that concert, so I just want to put the
Really?
point. Keith Robinson he's a very good friend of mine. He's been to everywhere that I should be. He's had dinner with Patti LaBelle at her house. He met Mariah Carey in 1990 at the Apollo. He got to go see the Michael Jackson 30th anniversary special. He's really gotten to do a lot of stuff.
because now I really like Liza too. I saw her in Cabaret first, and then Liza with a Z. It was just like right at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
What is it about her that you go, oh, I'm attracted? What is it?
I think it's I think it's just the larger than life and the sort of bliss of being Hollywood royalty, and so just like certain things. And she's a character.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, how do you get past that? She did an interview with Larry King, like, I don't know, 10 years ago. And I don't know if she was on downers or uppers. She's always kind of on and off. And for out of nowhere, she just goes, well, Maroon 5 has a big hit again. And I just love them. I was like, I love this woman. She was on the Home
funny.
Shopping Network, and they're trying to, she's hawking her stuff, and the host was like trying to upsell. You can wear 4 or 5, and Liza, what? She goes, bracelets, and Liza goes, no, 1 will do. It's like, Liza. But I've talked about her so much, her singing God Bless America. Like, I'm obsessed.
Do you think if you met her, you would know like how to approach like what she's into?
I would smoke a cigarette with her, and that would probably be that. But she
Yeah.
seems very nice. There's a couple celebrities where they're cuckoo, they're exotic, they've maybe had drug issues, but they're nice. Like I remember when I was on MTV, everyone at MTV said the same thing about Mariah Carey. She's incredibly nice. She's just always late.
Really?
Yeah. That's it. And I know because I've been to her concert where she's been 2 hours late, and it got quiet, and a gay yelled from the back, "Your hair looks fine." Like, it's just like, yeah. And I met Gayle King when I did CBS This Morning, and she said, amazing.
I didn't know you could do that on
And
TV.
You can't. And but she was very wonderful, and she read my whole book and wrote all these notes. And
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
And
She was quoting, right?
She said she was quoting
No,
me for my
she's-
special. Yeah,
Yeah.
She was.
She's yelling it across
But
the room.
the whole set went, and then I watched her hair, even though her wig flew off. But
Yeah.
but I said to her, I saw you because she remembered me from Rome, and I met Oprah. It's one of my jokes in my special.
Uh-huh.
And I said, well, I remember you at the Mariah Carey Christmas concert because I was sitting kind of right above you, and I thought it's so rude that Mariah made you wait 2 hours to watch her. And she sat there eating popcorn, waiting 2 hours. Like, you're gonna make Gayle King sit 2 hours? Mariah, get it together.
No,
But I
you
love Mariah Carey.
We had a friend who worked in a restaurant that a long time ago that Mariah Carey came into, and the story was she had hurt her wrists or something had happened.
Yeah, this was in 2000, probably 15, 16, and she had broken her arm.
and
She wore
she
that
had-
cast.
She had like gloves on.
Yeah.
And she ate her dinner like this, and someone fed her for the whole meal, like just 2 hands up like this, and someone fed her the whole meal.
I don't want to get there in my life.
No.
That's an existence I don't want.
No.
Just the wrist or someone feeding you?
Both.
Both.
Yeah.
Let me just welcome to the downside.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry.
This is a place we complain, we get negative.
I see your poster all the time on the
Yes, right
highway.
there.
I'm like, goddamn, Gianmarco. I could just see that face, and so I knew where this was when you texted me.
It's a good system. People
yeah.
have said like I thought I was lost, and then I said, well, surely.
Oh, there we go.
So I have this fantasy. So I'm going to have a special come out. What I want to get 9 more of those and go along the bridge and find houses. Find 9 things. I want there to be like 10 along the bridge. Like that's my ad campaign.
But someone's going to be feeling they're getting haunted at that point.
And I'll say the only way to get unhaunted is watch the special on YouTube.
Why the number 10?
It could be. I mean, I'm just. That's a lot already.
Wait, did you shoot the special yet?
Yeah, I did in Los Angeles.
We talked about this.
I think so.
Maybe. When does it come out?
Probably August.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Cool.
And your special comes out this month.
Friday.
Friday.
May 16th.
Al dente. No, what does al dente mean?
Not too hard.
Kinda.
Without
just thinking of
sauce.
spaghetti.
With
It means
sauce.
to the tooth.
Oh, to
it
the
means
tooth.
it translates to like a nice bite.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
I only said it because it took me 2.5 years to get that fucking special together. Then it took me 30 seconds to come up with the title because I panicked because I didn't have a title for it. So I just said al dente. I think I was really stressed out the past 2 months, so we just sort of
That's the
came
best
out.
way to come up
Where
with
did you
titles.
film it?
In LA at this place called the Broad Theater, which
Okay.
looks really nice for TV, but then as a performer, the ceilings were way too high. I didn't take that into consideration, but it was good. It was
Yeah.
everything was great. But in the future, I wouldn't perform there as like a show.
And it's part of the hilarious.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Hilarious. Like
Yeah.
Hulu.
Yeah.
Well, that's exciting. You feel. I mean, when did you film it? It was a while ago, right?
October,
Oh my God.
not my Chicago
Did
accent.
you have any jokes in there that you were like, oh, what if this becomes? Because I shot something that talked about Biden, and then the debate happened, and I had to release it sooner.
No, my material's quite evergreen. I started that way since 2009 because I just felt like it's too hard to write a topical joke and then let that marinate. Because a lot of the joke, I love the actual process of watching a joke evolve and develop and adding. And it's like a tapestry, or like a painting. Like you're always kind of adding to.
Yeah.
And so I never felt I got the same satisfaction. Obviously, if something happens in the news, like you're at the cellar or something, like you can just throw in here and
Sure.
there. But generally speaking, I just kind of like talk about my life, and so that way the jokes have time to marinate and grow. So I don't have that kind of talent to talk about like something really topical and then get it out right away.
Yeah,
just
yeah,
because my brain can't work that way.
Sure.
Yeah.
Any of your family go, please don't talk about this, don't talk about me, or is your family all
No,
cool?
my family is mad if I don't talk about them.
Really?
Oh yeah. They want to know everything. They want to be talked about. They want to be like they're totally for it.
Do they come to the shows?
I had to stop them. At the Chicago Theater, 42 of them came to my show.
Oh my God.
Wow.
I couldn't even name 42 family members.
Yeah.
That is insane.
The very first show I did in 2009 was at a place called Old Town Pub. Lisa Traeger was on the show. And like 30 members of my family came. My Uncle Mike organized the whole thing, and they all came. I did 3 minutes.
Wow.
Did
So
you-
eventually I had to tell them to stop.
Were you crushing with them?
No. Eventually, yeah. I remember, because it takes a long time to get good at
Of course.
stand-up.
Yeah.
So I remember the first time I was doing a show at Zanies. I was a part of some gay lineup. But at that point, this is probably 2010 or 11, and I really figured out like the system. Like, I have to go to open mics. I have to work on the jokes. I have to craft the jokes. I have to, like, you just don't know when you're first starting.
Of course. Yeah.
So at that point, like, I had come in with a lot more confidence. I didn't feel like I was just kind of guessing on stage. And I remember my mom said, like, I got like a really good reaction from the audience. And my mom even said, she goes, I even watched you, and turned to Aunt Cindy and said, oh, something feels different tonight. And I was like, oh yeah, it's because I like I realized what stand-up was. It wasn't just like throwing shit on the wall.
Yeah.
It was working on these jokes over and over again to see the responses you get and see how they grow.
Yeah.
That's how I fell in love with that process of joke writing.
Now, talk to me about your singing days, because again, the way you're able to sing, I would just sing every day. I mean, just doing.
I do sing every day.
Yeah. I guess, yeah.
I tried to.
As someone who's tried, I think honestly, like seeing you sing on stage in a stand-up format in a time where some comics go like,
Well, the one time I did it where I wanted to feel appropriate is when I was doing Carnegie Hall. I thought when at Carnegie Hall I should do something really musical. Yeah, so I'm
Sure.
friends. I became friends. I feel very lucky about this. I became friends with truly the world's most famous and greatest soprano named Nadine Sierra. She is phenomenal. She performs at the Met. She sang the national French anthem for the Notre Dame when they opened it. I'm talking she sings with Andrea Bocelli, tours with him. This is like the legit soprano of the world. And her and I just nerd out on singing and opera and music and and now we're very good friends. But before we became that close, we were just always talking about music or sending our favorite opera singers to each other. I said, hey, are you in New York this day? Because I'm doing Carnegie Hall and I would love to sing with you. And she was like, I am. Let's do it. And it was so cool. The day before, she brought me to the Metropolitan Opera, brought me into the rehearsal rooms, and me, her, and Brian, the pianist, rehearsed the song La Ci la mano. Luckily, I read music and I speak Italian.
He studied opera in college.
Yeah.
I saw a couple operas.
Yeah, and so it was cool to and then we'd change stuff and transpose stuff just because obviously I wanted to have fun with it, and she liked my lower range because I'm a basso profondo, so that means I'm the lowest of the lowest voices, and so
you're the lowest.
I'm still the lowest voice that my voice teacher ever had.
Wow.
How low can you go?
La 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 la.
That's wild.
That's crazy.
What is that? That's
How would I know?
You don't have. Let me think.
I don't know. I used to be able
that
to.
a D?
I D2. I don't know. I think I used to hit the first E on the piano, which was my voice was in really good shape.
How low
then.
can you go?
Not that low. No, I'm a tenor, like a baritone.
Low.
Let's see. Okay.
Low.
No, I'm just growling.
That's pretty good though.
Low.
That's good.
I think
But
we found the
it's-
social media clip. I think
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
the right.
So can you do?
Low, low, low.
Okay.
Low,
Well, give me. Don't go all the way. Let's okay. Right, go on match. Go.
low, low.
That's great. Oh my
low.
god.
This is gonna get someone off.
But how high can you go?
I mean,
Let's do.
I
Love.
oh, this can be more humiliating.
Ooh, let's do it.
La,
Love.
la.
That's good. So you have a good range.
Thank you.
There you go.
But you can also do falsetto. Mm-hmm. Oh, and are you a countertenor as well?
I don't know. It depends on where my voice is at. I could really sing. I had quite a big range. I used to have really good whistle tones, and then those kind of faded away.
Really?
Kinda. I mean, I'm 30. I'm gonna be 39 in a month. So
But how does Mariah Carey still have whistle tones?
she does, but she needs to refocus. That's the nicest way you could say it.
It's tough. She's set the bar so high. The songs are insane.
Yeah, I think at this point Mariah Carey's earned it. If she wants to lip sync a high note or something here and there, it doesn't really matter to me because it's insane to sing that kind of music. Yeah. But it's less about that, but it's more so just about like what's the point of being on stage? Is it just to be still around or money? I mean, people obviously want to see her. She's affected a lot of people's lives, but it
feels good,
But the performances are she's under a cloud.
Does she feel like she's having a good time?
Oh, it doesn't look like she's
Patti
having
LaBelle
fun.
is in her 70s and sounds the same.
Yeah.
Patti
She
LaBelle
wants to be on stage like this and have someone sing for her.
Yeah.
At the end of the
I think
day.
Mariah Carey's got a really good heart, and I think she really loves music, and she's an amazing songwriter and amazing singer, but she's so famous. I think that does something to you. So
She was married to a billionaire. I remember Jim Jeffries.
she got engaged, and then she sued him for wasting her time, and she got paid $30 million.
Is that true?
Mm-hmm.
That was the lawsuit.
For
You wasted
wasting
my
my
time.
time?
Mm-hmm. And she won.
Wow.
Well, got news for you, buddy.
Jim Jeffries had that. Do you ever hear that story? He was performing
Yes.
for the billionaire. They liked his gun bit, and he's like, normally it's a 14-minute bit, but that's with laughs.
Yeah.
Without it's like
About
4.
6.
Yeah. And he said Mariah was there kind of just drugged out and all these things.
I don't know that she's drugged out. I just feel like I don't know. It's very few people have reached her fame, and very few people have that kind of talent. And I'm not saying it in a mean way, but I watched the clips of her on stage lately. She seems unhappy. I don't know. Her mom and sister just passed away, and so maybe there's some kind of
How old is she?
She's 55.
Was she I never saw her interviews. She did Las Culturalistas. Was she having fun?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. Liza's never done Las. I mean,
No, but I'm ready. I'm so
Well, I would love it because Bowen and Matt are so they would just make me giggle. They're so fun.
That would be. Now, when you dress up as Liza, did you keep the stash?
Yeah, and Bob was furious.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was like, "Why?" I'm like, "It's funny that way."
Uh-huh.
But he's very drag oriented. He's like, "Get rid of the stash." I'm like, "No, it's funny."
What kind of music was your family listening to as a kid? I mean, your dad wasn't putting on Mariah.
No one sings in my family. My Aunt Debbie has a good voice, but no one sings in my family. We listened to. Our music was all over, from Katie Lang to Linda Ronstadt was huge. Mary Chapin Carpenter, Barbra Streisand was huge. My Aunt Cindy and I listened to all Barbra Streisand music. But I didn't discover the great singers like Mariah and Patty and all these people. And I mean, Barbara's obviously one of the best singers that's ever lived. I'm just saying the rest of them until I started singing in high school, till I was like 14.
You haven't met Barbara.
No.
What do you find, like, what do you like about we had do you know Natalie Walker?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, she's great, does musical theater. But she has the admiration for Liza. She saw the documentary about Liza.
I still need to watch it.
She said that Liza says in the documentary that she never did drugs, which I think is kind of
It's like one of those when
know,
someone makes a documentary and you're like have control
That's
over it.
insane.
Yeah.
That's like me doing a documentary and saying I'm not gay. That's insane.
Yeah.
I don't. There's no shame, Liza.
No.
It's like you
I
did.
know.
No, I don't even think it was.
Why was she in rehab so many times?
I don't even think it was that she said that she didn't do drugs.
Oh.
She said there were no drugs at Studio 54. It was like even
That's
bigger
how
lie.
high she was.
Even
That
bigger
she
lie.
thought there was no
There's
drugs.
I said my
at Studio
mom did
54.
drugs at Studio 54. Like,
Yeah.
it's common.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there was a bit of delusion there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what were you saying?
So what do you
About Barbara?
So you're growing up. So Barbara, what's your dad listening to? Is he like a Sinatra guy?
No, I don't really know. My dad, we weren't like, there wasn't, most of the music came from my Aunt Cindy and Uncle Mike. So my Uncle Mike loved Linda Ronstadt. And I love Linda Ronstadt. She was an amazing singer. And if you listen to her voice, it's interesting because she's also half Mexican. And she grew up singing Mexican music and then ended up singing rock and roll and R&B type of bluesy kind of music.
Yeah.
But her influences aren't R&B, blues, or that, or rock and roll. It's Mexican folk music, mariachi. So when you listen to her sing English songs and then you listen to her sing Spanish songs, you could hear the influence. You're like, oh wow, that is why her voice is so different, because she's not singing like the way that other people sing who are more bluesy influenced.
Sure. Your dad was a cop.
Yeah.
Was it ever scary?
No.
Like, what was his beat?
I don't know. My dad's a Vietnam vet who then just became a cop and then suffered PTSD and had a hard life. And then, I'm just like, gay,
Was he confused by it? Was he like,
no,
whatever?
but I do remember him like screaming in the middle of the night. But they didn't just men at that age. They didn't process their
screaming about you being gay or screaming
no,
about
PTSD.
I thought it was that.
Can
guy.
you imagine?
He's
No,
like,
no.
That's fine, son.
That's fine, son.
I can't believe he's gay.
Help!
You remember that? You remember screaming in the middle
When I
of the
was
night?
younger, I do remember that. Yeah. My
Did anyone
parents
explain it to you, or were you
no,
just like?
but my parents did a good job of kind of hiding all that from us. But
aside from the screaming,
but my dad, his existence in my life was sort of just like in and out. You know what I mean? It was sort of like
Yeah.
He's at work. Okay, he's doing midnight shifts. Him and my Uncle Mike were both cops. So my Uncle Mike and my dad, it was like my dad's on midnight shifts, which means you start work at 11, you come home at 6. So he sleeps throughout the day. So then we couldn't like talk, and so they had a fan in his room, and you had to be like really quiet because he had to get sleep so he could do midnight shifts.
Yeah.
And my Uncle Mike was the same. I lived next door to my cousins, so we'd go there. Uncle Mike's on midnight shifts, so you just got to be quiet.
What kind of relationship did he have with your mom? He's never awake when she's awake. Did she stay up?
I mean,
Well, no,
yeah,
if
they
he
had a
cuts home and goes to bed, and then you're like probably gets up around 2 or 3, and then
But someone's nighttime energy and it's your waking up energy.
yeah.
That's a
It
tough
just
life.
was always, but then my mom eventually got a job because we didn't have a lot of money growing up. So my mom got a job as a secretary assistant at an elementary school when I was in 3rd or 4th grade. So then having a second income made it a little easier.
Yeah.
And then eventually his schedule evened out, but he was a pilot in Vietnam. He was a helicopter pilot and still kept his pilot license. And so like when he did have days off, he would like take me in a Cessna and we'd fly around Chicago.
In a helicopter?
No, in a Cessna, like
What's
those
a
little
Cessna?
2-seater planes.
oh, that's so scary.
Yeah,
Oh.
it was fun. I mean, that's why I'm not
Yeah.
afraid of flying, because I
Yeah.
was like 5, just like Chicago.
Yeah.
Did you ever think about learning how to fly?
No, my dad hunts and fishes and flies, and I just have no interest in any of it.
Yeah.
I want to sing, bake, and be on stage.
So he had his own plane.
No, we rent out. So you're part of like a club, and there's like a small airport, and you go and like you pay a certain amount, and then you can like rent out a plane for a day.
Yeah.
Almost like a city bike, but a plane.
That's so
Yeah.
cool.
You got to bring it back. Yeah.
Oh God, was it ever scary? Did it always feel fine? Was there ever a moment that your dad was like, "Oh shit,"
No.
or he had a flashback?
No, I
Yeah.
mean, no. The older we got, the less that happened. But then, you're in middle school, and so suddenly you're kind of within your own world. And
Sure.
then me struggling with my sexuality was like you just kind of blocked out like what your parents were doing, and it all just became like about friends and stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Siblings?
Yeah, my brother and sister. We're all in a row.
Okay.
So I'll be 39 next month. My sister's 40. My brother's 41. They're Irish twins.
Okay.
We each have a cousin our age, and we all grew up within like a couple block radiuses of each other.
Is that an Irish thing? The boom, 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 1, 2, 3.
It's an Italian Mexican
Yeah.
thing.
Really? Okay. And they go 3. We're done.
Yeah, my dad had a vasectomy after I was born.
Wow.
So,
So 3.
and I don't know if I was meant to be, but I remember my Aunt Lisa one time looking at a picture of me. She goes, the unexpected one with those long nails.
Oh yeah. And your brother's gay too.
Yeah.
And who came out first? In the
My
family?
brother, he's older. I'm the baby.
You sure? Yeah. I mean, that's a small gap for a baby, but
Yeah, just 2 years. 3 years, basically.
Do you remember when he came out thinking, "Oh, you beat me to it"?
I don't think I thought about it so systematically, to be honest with you. Like, everything at that time felt so, like, every moment was like everything's, when you're young, you don't think so streamlined.
Yeah.
So I remember him coming out, but he came out to my mom. We didn't really know what was going on. They had like a long conversation, and eventually I picked up that he was gay. So it wasn't like this thing, but the way that my brother dealt with it was different than me. My brother's more like Batman. He's just very quiet and to himself and has his own life, and I'm very involved in the family, and I'm all with jokes and funny. My family's all very funny. So when I came out, I just flipped it and just made a joke about it, and then everyone was fine with it.
I see. What does your brother do?
He's one of the top designers at Apple.
Oh wow. Do you get some products?
No, and he only gets 10% off. I'm like, but
10%
that's what the Genius Bar gets, and you're like
Yeah.
inventing this shit.
I used to work as a genius. That's literally the exact.
Yeah.
They don't get any more.
No, my
That's
brother gets 10, but I did get to
insane.
play with stuff like before, like the iPad with the iPencil and stuff. Like I got to play with all that stuff before it came out because he would bring it like a test, like a beta version to Thanksgiving or something, and so I could play
Sure.
with that. But it's very secretive, and he lives in San Francisco, and
Yeah. Okay, so how are you doing in school? Were you a good student?
Not a good student. Almost failed high school.
How
Really?
close?
Pretty close. I mean, I really did not do. I just didn't go to class. I didn't care. I didn't want to be there. I didn't feel connected to school. I'm a tactile learner. The idea of memorize, all of it just was the opposite of me. And then I went to 1 year of community college just to please my mom, and I took an art class. And I really do have a gift for drawing. If I
Yeah,
could
also
say,
can draw. It's
if I'm naturally better at anything, it's drawing. Like, and I mean that. Like, I could objectively speak about it now because it's so far removed. And I did like one drawing, and my teacher happened to be a teacher at School of the Art Institute of Chicago.
Can I ask, with drawing and art, like, is it one particular? Could you do charcoal? Or is it like your best? What's your best? What are you best at?
Yeah, I mean, you have to
drawing?
learn the medium. Like,
Yeah.
so charcoal is going to be very different. That the application and what you're trying to render will be different based off of what medium you're using, whether that's paint, oil paint, acrylic paint, watercolor, gouache, or you're using pencil, graphite. If you're using charcoal, if you're, obviously, like, you have to learn the medium in order to sort of manipulate it to get what you want.
Yeah.
You like certain ones better than other ones, or you learn how to work with certain ones better than other ones. But if it comes down to it, like, what am I most comfortable with? A sheet of printing paper and a number 2 pencil, and I'm happy.
Because you did storyboarding for like commercials and
Yeah,
stuff.
for like Lexus and 7-Up, and I was a professional storyboard artist.
Do you have any thoughts about like the chat GPT of it all, and how a lot of those jobs that probably you were doing, they're going to try to replace or fill in? Like, is it depressing? Is it, you don't think it's going to, you
don't-
need the human touch?
No, I don't think about it that way. I mean, storyboarding was meant for the time of my life that it was at.
Yeah.
I think AI art, for me, I don't think so broad about these things. I just think personal. I think a little bit more local. So I just think, well, I don't like it. You know what I mean? So I'll just continue to draw what's right for me.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to get existential about it and talk about it, yes, it's sad that
we
sort
can.
of
I mean, this is
yeah.
the, yeah.
But I think personally, I'm just like, well, it's just like not like I heroin's a terrible problem. I don't do it.
Yeah.
So it's not in my line of vision.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
So I don't know. I'm just like
I just wonder, do you still have artist friends?
Yeah, I do. My friend Zach and my friend Sam and my friend Frank and my friend Matt.
I'm just curious kind of what their, it depends. If you're making your own personal art, I think it has its own individuality. But like if you work in storyboarding, I just wonder how they look at the future right now, whether it's a scary thing.
I think that if you're an artist, I think what happens with art is the older you get, the more unique your own style is. It's more appreciated. When I was learning how to do oil painting, the alla prima method, I became very like narrow-minded. Like if it's not John Singer Sargent, then it's not art. But then the older you get, you realize that like a fingerprint, everyone's is quite different. So yeah, AI can create all these amazing, beautiful images, but the human eye can still detect humanity.
Yeah.
And so my friend Zach drawing a simple sketch on the train, there's something now where people are leaning towards that simplicity and I think the humanness about it that is now helping certain artists. So
I see.
If you're a graphic artist and you're doing storyboarding or you're doing character design or you're doing environment, whatever, I'm sure AI really does take over a lot of people's jobs because you could just type this in and kind of manipulate it that way or work with the AI to manipulate it.
Sure.
I don't really know. I'm not in that world anymore. But I think just like people buying art or looking at art, I think certain things will get so over the top that you start to reverse. It starts to have a negative reaction. And so people go back to the humanity of it all.
Yeah.
If you were asked to do a caricature,
I did caricatures for a
would you
long
be good at
time.
it? You'd be
Oh
good at
yes,
it.
I was.
Okay, can
I
you
was
talk
very
about
good.
the process of identifying, like,
Well, as a
how mean is your brain to like be like, this is what I'm gonna? Because sometimes you'll see a caricature, thing,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, okay, I guess that's me. Like, we had to do one.
Did you have a bad caricature
We had,
experience?
for the show that I'm doing right now, their whole thing was like, oh, we'll do caricature portraits of everyone, and they showed me, and I was like, this is.
I think because I was a fashion illustrator, I worked a side job for years when I was in high school as a caricature artist at bar
Wow.
mitzvahs and birthday parties and bowling parties and communions, whatever.
Yeah.
You throw me in a corner, I draw people, they give you $20. The drunker they get, the more money you get.
Yeah.
But I was always complimentary. I always took the right nice features and I made everyone look really nice.
Oh.
Which I got in trouble for when I went to college because my teachers were constantly, stop making people look beautiful and paint what you see. So
Really?
I
So you were
beautified a lot,
Yassifying them.
a bit, and they were very much like Dan Gustin, my teacher, was one of the best teachers I ever had. Was very much like, stop painting what you think you see and paint what you do see, and it's because painting and art really is not so much. Obviously, the mechanical like element of taking as little in between your pen and your brain and just directly like, in other words, like. Think of between your arm and your brain. There's like a million different walls, right?
Yeah.
And so like drawing over and over and over and over and all the different practice and stuff, you're removing all those walls so you get the quickest path to what I see in my brain, what I'm seeing to move it on the paper, right?
Yeah.
Passive leaf resistance. So when you are painting, the most difficult thing is like a tree, some kind of still life, the human eye, whatever it is. You're constantly combating what you think an eye looks like. And when you release that, then you can actually see what you're painting or see what you're drawing. But it's so hard to let go of what you fantasize something looks like, even though you're staring
Yeah,
at
can you
it.
imagine you get a really nice portrait of you and you find out the student got an F because
You're
That's
too
not-
pretty.
That's
Too
not what it looks
good.
like.
Luckily, it was a pass-fail school, so don't worry.
So you did the full gamut of an artist's life. So you did the storyboarding, you did the caricatures.
I lived in Italy painting. My training of art was everything. I was a sponge. I was one of the best students at that school from being one of the worst students in high school. That school changed my
That's
life,
so
the School of the
cool.
Arts of Chicago. And I got in with 5 drawings. And
Yeah.
they only let in 1,700 kids, and kids are flying all over the world to try and get into the school. That school changed my life. I mean, it really taught me to have confidence. It taught me that I could believe in myself. The teachers were so encouraging with me. I stayed hours and hours and hours after class. I would stay overnight, sleep under my desk. I was in animation. I was in storyboarding. I was in fashion illustration. I was in oil painting. I was in watercolor. I was in scientific illustration. I just soaked it up. I
Are
soaked
all
it up.
artists that, I mean, are you more versatile than the average? It sounds like everything.
I probably was, because I was doing oil paintings, storyboarding, fashion illustration all at the same time, which are all 3 very different styles of art. But I mean it. I think like if I really was supposed to sit down and be like, you were meant to do this in life, it was probably art. And it's still today. I can pick up a pen and do everything.
So what
exact.
shifted? What brought you away from that?
Yeah.
I don't know. The need to perform. Love.
You're like
the
quit
need-
stand-up comedy right now.
Yeah, I don't know. But I also didn't know stand-up was available to me because I didn't see gay people do it. I saw gay
Sure.
women. I saw Ellen. I saw Margaret Cho. I saw Rosie O'Donnell.
When
I
was
saw
Ant?
Ant was on VH1. What was that show? The weight loss show for Celebrity Fitness Club, Celebrity Fit Club.
Oh God, I'm sure there's a lot of dated jokes on there.
The first gay comic I ever was aware of was Mario Cantone. But you just have to
Sure.
remember that at that time, nothing was accessible to us. So it's not like I could YouTube Mario Cantone and dive into gay men doing comedy or Jim David or Rick Chrome.
Sure.
So it's whatever I got on TV. So I didn't see a gay man do stand-up till I was 23.
God, Rick Chrome. I gotta have Rick Chrome on.
He's so good.
He's so good.
He said
Some of the
something to me-
Most fucked up one-liners out there.
Yeah,
man.
he's amazing.
God.
And a great musician. He said something to me once because we were talking about being gay in comedy. He said, when was it okay to be out and gay in comedy? And he goes, now. But imagine that life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And imagine
Around
going...
the people he would have been around.
Yes. And
you
imagine
know?
your whole life never seeing a straight man do stand-up until you were 23. Think about it.
Sure. It's
So I just didn't know it was
impossible to even conceive
I know,
of such a thing.
That's what I'm saying. Where it's like, oh, no wonder I didn't know it was available to me because I didn't see it. It
Yeah.
was there, but again, it wasn't accessible. How was I going to see Miss Coco Peru? How was I going to see any of these people? How? How? Tell me how. So I had to see Bill Cruz at an open mic in Chicago, who changed my life.
What were the earliest shows with did Cheers have a gay character on it? Did
they would
Frasier?
sometimes-
Frasier
they
probably
would- they
had
would
someone.
sometimes
They were all faggots in Frasier. Every single one of them was
They
a
would
faggot.
sometimes have someone pop on, but it was like very much like even it was funny if you watch back Frasier and Niles sometimes being like being scared about thought of as gay. You know, when they were so gay. Both
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like it's very funny. But no, I don't
For
think
me, truly Seinfeld, it was the episode of Not That There's Anything Wrong With That. Where they thought they were both gay. You don't know Seinfeld at all.
Yeah,
No.
George and Jerry. They get, there's nothing wrong
There's a
with it.
reporter who's convinced that they're
gay lovers.
Oh, okay.
And everything that they do is just like,
Oh, okay.
Jerry, the fruit's soft.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
That was my earliest exposure to pseudo gay.
I remember Ellen was really impactful, but at the time it wasn't impactful. I was 8. It wasn't impactful in the way that I was empowered. I just remembered she came out and everyone hated her. So if anything, it made me go even more in the closet because I was like, oh, that didn't go well. That didn't go well. So I was scared.
Was it like a 1-to-1? Like she came out, and everyone's like, I don't really like Ellen
You
anymore. Or were they?
You have to watch the Oprah interview with her. You would think
sure.
that
I mean,
Ellen.
the show ended. Her show ended,
and then people were like, "You disgust me.
It
You're
kind of-
horrible. You're
it's
this
kind
that."
of- you also think about Rosie O'Donnell. You're like, she had that show. It was so
God, I
successful.
love the old Rosie
It was
show.
so successful,
Oh,
and
yeah,
then
so much musical theater.
and then she
classics
came
on
out,
there.
and then I don't think
She came out while she was doing the show.
No,
She left the show and
she
then
left
came
the
out.
show, then came out. But it was a little bit of the thing. She was so popular, and then it felt like this thing.
Because I've always had a theory that America loves gay people as long as they're
Until
not out.
they're out,
That's
yeah.
right. That's right. Richard Simmons,
Yeah.
Liberace, Paul Lynn.
I think it's hard though because when I see them, I go, well, "You don't know that they're gay. You don't know that Liberace is that America writ large. They just don't want to hear it. They
Yeah,
don't
they
want to
just don't-
think of the sex element of
I
it."
guess so. I don't know. That was always my theory. But I'm sure people were back then being like, "Look at that fag," you know what I mean? But he's an entertainer. I
Did
don't
Russell
know.
Simmons ever come out? Russell Simmons, I get that right?
Richard Simmons?
Richardson, my God.
my God.
I mean,
But did he ever?
I don't
think he ever did. He just disappeared, and then everyone was like, "Are you okay?" And then he died.
And he died. I know him from the Howard Stern show. He had some of the most amazing appearances on that show in the late 80s, early 90s. I mean, I'm talking laughing out loud till you're crying.
Yeah.
It's all on YouTube. It's amazing.
Really?
The early ones, yeah.
Do you think when you saw them as a kid, like you related to something to them, or you
No, I
just thought they
related
were-
more to like Jafar Maleficent.
Now, do you think
Jafar.
those? Because I've heard you joke about those characters. Like, do you think why are the villains in these things so
Okay.
Queer coded the other,
Yeah.
the sort of the different. I think that.
Yeah, but it's that same thing. But they're still obviously they make it that character because it's so entertaining.
Well,
and
they
it's
also
so,
Yeah.
they're secretive. They're by themselves. They
They
have
have
special
robes.
powers. They have robes. Actually, you know what? You're right. Let's start number one.
They have
robes, capes. Trana Wintour and I. She's a great
They
comic in
usually have
Montreal.
some sort of headpiece.
Headpiece, staff. she said, she goes, I love capes. I have a cape. I recently bought one. There's something about queer people and capes.
Yeah.
We love a cape. That's just that.
Yeah.
They have a song. You know,
Maleficent never had a song.
That's okay. But they they usually have a song, and it's usually like
You'll have your looks, your pretty face, and don't
it's snarky. It's kinda
snarky.
Like,
Yeah.
Poor unfortunate soul.
yeah.
Who's your favorite?
Maleficent.
Now,
Not the Angelina Jolie bullshit.
Yeah, what's before that? I don't think I know the
Sleeping Beauty,
Sleeping
1959.
Beauty.
Oh, yes.
What's that character? I've seen it, of course, but I don't remember.
Maleficent, voiced by Eleanor Audrey, designed by Mark Davis.
How does she sound?
Well, she has, she's very commanding, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Very speechy-esque. Probably was terrible to animate. I mean, like Cruella de Vil or Ursula is really fun to animate. They move around a lot. There she is. But she was very stiff. And she had that Mark Davis spoke about how they designed the Raven for her just so she had someone to go back and forth with.
Uh-huh.
Because she's always talking to herself.
So you like Disney?
I like Maleficent. I
like
like the artists of Disney.
You do.
Yeah.
What about now? Contemporary?
I'm not like a Disney person. I've never even been to Disney World.
Oh, yeah?
Well, we didn't have money, so how was I going to go to Disney World? But I also am
Sure.
not like a Disney. Like, I don't get thrills from like Mickey and Minnie. But I'm
Yeah.
an artist, and so I was attracted to the design of those characters. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I have animations. I could show you animations I did of Maleficent when I was like 10.
Wow.
My
I
God.
still have them. My mom sent me them.
Okay, so then all this drawing, where does the singing come in?
I started singing when I wanted to be in the comedies when I was in high school, and I was too young, but a girl named Ashley Stein was like, well, we're looking for guys on show choir. They're desperate for guys on show choir, which I'm sure is different now, but at the time, if you were a guy in show choir, I mean, forget about it. You could just walk in, show your penis, you're in. You don't even have to sing.
For sure.
And so then I remember I sang... what was my audition song? The Aladdin song, Riff Raff, Street Rat, I don't buy that.
Uh-huh.
And of course I got it. And but I really loved singing, and I was a very natural singer right away. And I started singing with a voice teacher named Nick Falco, who taught me how to breathe, support, project.
Did you do the show choir?
Yeah.
Well, so
I did it for a year and a half, and then I left.
For whatever reason, where I grew up, it was just we did theater, we did plays and musicals, but like show
Midwest.
choir, yeah.
Where are you from?
Wish, a DC area.
Where are you from?
Upstate New York.
And where are you from? Manhattan. Oh, cool. Like a real New Yorker. Yeah, it's a Midwest thing.
Yeah.
It's in Indiana, Kansas,
we would have like
Chicago.
a show choir, like part of the all area, all state, or like all county choruses. There would be like a show choir, but we didn't have one at the school.
A lot of choreo.
Lots, and I'm not a good dancer.
Really? So that's one thing you can't.
Yeah, I was
do.
never a good dancer. I don't
But
get it.
in-
I'm not coordinated. Even
in
with my
show choir,
kettlebells.
it's pretty limited.
No,
You're-
it was hard.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. I was never good at it.
Okay.
I was never a good dancer, but I was always the best singer, so that was
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
It worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you ended up. Did you ever do any musicals, any plays, or no?
I did one musical called Blood Brothers, which was too serious when
Oh,
I was
sure.
16. But I was the narrator, so I had the best role. So everyone else had to do the drama. I came out, and my songs were all the same with different lyrics. And so I just show up, belt, blow everybody away, and go backstage.
That's so nice.
Oh, it was the best. I mean, that's why if I had a dream role, my dream role, if they brought Grease back to Broadway, I want to be the beauty school dropout.
yeah.
Like, you have one song, you show up, you sing well, you go home.
Yeah.
That could come back. It's due for a comeback.
Or I'd like to play Rizzo.
Oh yeah.
She had the best role.
She's the friend.
Yeah, she's the one that thinks she's pregnant and she's dating Kanicki and...
Sure.
Sorry, Frenchie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you gonna say?
I was just thinking of the other parts that you one song like Meatloaf's part in Rocky Horror. You know.
Yeah, I just want the
Come to
one. Give me
that
one great
one.
song.
Yeah.
Like I watched Audra McDonald in Gypsy, and she was
just saw it.
unbelievable.
You saw it. I saw it.
It really was like an honor to watch her.
It was
Yeah.
crazy. I can't believe she's doing that 8 times a week.
Well, that's the best thing. When I left, I went with Val at the Cellar. When I left, it was so New York because we went to the 2 p.m. show.
Yeah.
So we're leaving, and the tourists are like, "Oh my God, she was unbelievable! How amazing!" And all the New York women are going, "She has to do it again tonight."
That and you get to the end,
I'm
and
exhausted.
she's just like,
Just like we all saw the matinee. We all saw a matinee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's just when we can
Comics.
see. Oh.
And I love Audra McDonald, and she weathered a very difficult storm, having to constantly sing through her passaggio because
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
sings chest voice, and it's like
not
"Love."
it's not an ideal.
Right,
And
but
some
she
people
did
aren't
it.
going to like that no matter
But
what.
she
They're going to
did-
go.
She did it
and
amazing.
I
She did
like that
amazing.
she also was like, I'm gonna fully give over to mainly care about the acting of this, and
Yeah.
like not like especially in the end where you're
I mean,
like,
she
yeah.
was.
great,
I was the closest
whatever.
I've been to
But what-
sobbing in the theater. She was
I
just
did.
like,
Yeah,
she's
yeah,
just
it was
did.
so,
dying.
it was so,
and what a
like,
terrible
upsetting.
character. Like, what an awful
Oh.
woman.
Yeah, it's tough to make. I mean,
Mama
it really
Rose.
is so brutal. It's
I was
just
crying.
one of those characters would be like, "Stop! No,
Yeah,
don't
you're
do
like,
this.
someone
Yeah.
just come
Just
shoot
be
this
happy for
person.
her."
I
Someone
know.
come shoot this person.
Old yellow her. Get her.
Protect her. Stop. Everyone else is so nice
I
around
love.
her.
I
She's
love
gonna
at
win
the
the
end
Tony.
that
Yeah.
it really is. It really is like this moving moment where she has this moment with her daughter, and then that it comes back right at the end. She's like, "And then I could do this, and then I could," and you're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, no one ever changes."
Some people can get a thrill.
Okay, can you do all the different? Because you're great at impressions. So okay, can you do a Bernadette?
Well, she's like, me, me. Well, what? How?
Because she did Gypsy too. I'm going through all the gypsies.
What's up? I know her from Harry holds the key to your heart. She's another one that does like me, 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 and then like she jumps back and forth. Yeah.
Sure. And then Patty, can you do a Patty?
Ah! She's so,
Yeah.
She's ready to belt.
Yeah.
She has preserved her voice amazingly. She's amazing.
Yeah. It's tough. Some of these singers, they get. I mean, the ones that are really good actors, it's rare for that voice to last because they
I know.
give it their. It's too many. 8 is too many shows a week.
It is too many.
But Patty can do it. Patty does it. Stephanie J. Block has held on to her voice beautifully. I saw her in the Cher show, which was awful, but I saw her. Obviously fucking Patti LaBelle. If Whitney Houston, forget the drugs, if she didn't smoke cigarettes, she still would have been able to sing. She was alive today.
The cigarettes fuck with your voice?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
How
Bad.
often do you smoke?
Every once in a while. I go through waves and I should stop.
Yeah.
But I need one vice. I don't drink. I don't do drugs.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't sleep around. I'm like, so I need one
menthol
vice.
or regular?
Just regular. I roll them.
You roll them.
Very European.
I want to get into cigarettes. That's my dream.
Don't get it.
We can
Don't
have one after
get
if you
into
want.
them.
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
Great.
Before we go into just the next segment, tell me because I listen.
Well, how much time do we have? What time is it?
It's 7. You have to go to 7:30, right?
Yeah, we still have time.
Yeah. I'm using him spray.
Okay. Oh, we're talking hair now.
We are talking.
I've had
hair.
2 hair surgeries. I'm getting my
Really?
third next month. Yeah,
Wait,
or
now why
2
your
months from now.
third?
To finish the crown.
So why did you realize there was more to be done? Did you always know it was going to be?
I got my first hair surgery and it just fixed a really bad hairline, and then I got my second one to like bring everything in, and then add more to my beard, and then the third one.
You added more to your beard?
I never had any of this before.
Wow.
Where did it stop?
It just kind of did that, and that was it.
It's crazy how good of a job they can do now.
I did it in New York. I went to a really good doctor.
Okay, yeah.
I didn't go to Turkey. I don't want to be ugly recovering on a plane for 18 hours just swollen. Like,
But
I'll have the
remember-
beef.
Remember, it was like a punchline in like the 80s, 90s of like the hair plugs or the thing. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Because we've had a couple people, and you're like, it's like so
No,
crazy.
they've really.
how good
If you
of
get a good doctor, they've locked it down.
yeah,
Yeah.
They have.
Because your hair is phenomenal.
but it's real.
I know. I
But
can't
I'm
even.
not. I'm not saying. I'm not saying like it's a big thick hair, but like I
biggest
feel like.
biggest pet peeve for people who have great hair and complain about it. Go on.
Oh no!
I'm teasing.
Yeah.
I'm joking. I'm teasing
Go
you.
for
I'm
it.
teasing
Tell
you.
us.
I'm
Oh,
teasing.
oh no, I have cowlicks, but no. I was just gonna say. I feel like recently someone else we were talking to, and that they had the surgery, and it just blows my mind because I'm like it looks so great.
We had
Like,
Dan Soderon. He has it.
You
We went
know?
to the same doctor.
Oh, you did?
Yes, and so we always me and him and another comic as well.
Yeah.
and we talk about it all the time.
What
amazing.
do I gotta be saving up in the piggy bank for
I don't know
this?
that you need to. Your hair looks great.
It's well,
you
the
have a lot
the
of
hip
hair.
spray has been working, but it's coming up here.
Well-
if I gel it back, if I'm trying to look more Italian, I'm like, whoa.
Yeah,
And then here the hip spray has really been
yeah,
working.
finasteride
shockingly.
and minoxidil.
Let me
and-
say
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
given
yeah.
me a lot. I started it literally 2 weeks ago.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, because I'm wearing it down, but I'm like having a hairline issue, and I've been like freaking out about it. So it's genuinely nice to hear that like it works.
Oh yeah,
You know what
I mean, I was bad. I really was
Really?
bad. Yeah.
How old were you when
And-
it started? If I'm asking.
Probably like 20. Well, that's one of my jokes. I was like 21 or 22. I was like, another bad haircut. Like I just didn't understand why my hair wasn't doing the same thing it
I'll
always
tell you
did.
what I know is that when I was younger, every barber would go, "Oh my God, what a thick head of hair you have!" And I remember like one day going like, "No one said that to me."
no one said that to me in a while.
And I used to have thick, and they always would comment on it. And then I remember the poor hairdresser at Aveda, the first one that I was like, "Hey, is my hair like been thinning since I've been here?" And she was like, "No."
Oh
No.
that
And I
voice.
could, and I was like,
She's
you can tell
You're
me.
lying to me.
Yeah.
bitch.
I asked you. Oh, I know. I remember. Yeah, I started losing it. Really, when I moved to New York, I really started noticing it. I would wear hats all the time, and it just was. I just remember saying to myself, whenever I make it, the first thing I'm gonna do is get a hair transplant so I can just have some confidence back. Go into a pool, a windy day. It sounds so stupid.
No, those things happen.
Yeah,
quite
it's like,
often.
if it rains, you don't leave.
Windy.
I had a joke where I was like, I kept my head above the water all the time. I was like a gay alligator in every pool. I didn't understand people diving in like, oh, it feels so good. I'm like, like I just couldn't.
Do you ever think about, as a stand-up comedian, that the desire to look good runs counter to the showing yourself to be the fool, the comedic one? I mean, some of the greatest comics are some of the ugliest fellas we've ever seen.
But I think the premise fails because you're saying that there is a standard to comedy. And I don't think the standard of comedy is look this way, perform this way. I think the standard should be for comedy, what's ever authentic within you, no matter who you are or how you express yourself, should come out. I feel more comfortable going to the gym, getting Botox, and getting hair transplants.
Sure.
And I don't mind saying it.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
Someone said on one of the videos, they're like, I miss Matteo's old face. I said, I take that as a compliment. I say that as a compliment.
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying.
No,
I
no,
do
I
understand. I didn't mean to.
I
That
think,
sounded.
I think it's a different thing when you are watching someone and it feels I feel like sometimes you're watching a performer and you feel the shift, and it's not even how they look, it's you feel them shifting to being more focused on what they're wearing and what their look is rather than the content that they're doing. And I think that's a different thing than actually how they look. You can just feel it sometimes.
Every time I ask him about a female comedian stand-up special, he always starts with, what were they wearing? And I said, let's focus on the jokes, Russell, please. But no, I agree. I just like, sometimes I'm trying to talk about my own vanity, my version of it, because that feels honest. I get what you're saying too, though.
I think I came from a long time of being made fun of, not feeling included, not feeling.
What did they make fun of you? Like,
oh my god, being in high school is you're a faggot, you're this, and just. And
they would say it. They would.
Yes, it was horrible. And then when you get older and you discover you're gay, then suddenly people are like, I remember guys would say to me all the time. One guy said to my face, he was like, I was trying to hit on him at a bar. Remember when you used to have to do that? And I said something. He's like, yeah, I'll be honest. You're cute, but I'm not fucking you. You need to gain 10 pounds and something along those lines. So it was always like I felt like wherever I was either being judged by who I was or what I looked like. So that's why I loved comedy so much, because no one gave a shit. They just cared about what I thought and how I spoke.
Yeah.
And
started comedy.
That's a big generalization, by the way. I'm not saying everyone's like that. I'm just saying my experience was probably around a lot of vain people. But there's nothing wrong with saying, like, the older I got, and my sister's an IFBB pro, which is an international fitness bodybuilder, and she works out, and I watched her train. I watched her do all of it, and I thought, you know what? Like, I'd like to do that. I'd like to really feel confident. I'd like a space where I can go and focus on something not comedy. I like feeling good. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. I like eating healthy, and I like going to the gym.
My mom, she used to be heavier set, and she was bulimic for a long time. And she told me she had this bitterness that when she lost weight, she felt so many people's behavior towards her shift. Mm-hmm. And she felt like a deep, like, you're all full of shit. And it's like, I honestly think it's more and more where I get like a version of my bitterness that informs my comedy. Mm-hmm. But like, was there any, when you started like getting, because I saw an earlier picture of you where you were rail thin.
Yeah, I was 130 pounds. I'm 169 right now.
Yeah. Did you ever feel? When did you make the change?
Well, in like when I was 31 or 2 or something like that.
Yeah.
But I remember, like, it sounds so hard. You're not supposed to say it. Oh, you can't, skinny shaming, and I don't know. But body shaming is body shaming, and people would comment, and especially women. It was always women. Your legs are so disgustingly thin. Oh my God, I would be so jealous. I wish I had your leg. Like, I was like, okay, I didn't ask you to comment on my body. But when you are thin, people tell you all the time about how you look because it's a safe space. You're the quote unquote being thin is the look.
How would it make you?
So-
Because they.
But also,
what were they doing when they said like? Do you think they felt jealous of your legs? Do you think they?
I think that they associated thin with beauty and then projected their insecurity on me.
Yeah.
And then just told me, "Oh my God, you're so thin. I'm so jealous." And it's
And
like I didn't
people-
ask you how I looked.
people don't think. Sometimes even they'll be talking about themselves, but you're like you'll be talking to a skinny person and after a meal or something, they'll be like, "Oh my God, I'm so fat right now," and you're like, "No, but I'm actually."
Yeah, exactly.
And you're doing a weird
And-
thing.
and by
where
the
you're
way-
like, where you're like, you're not, and also you're like, there's just a way of saying what you're saying, which is like, "Oh, I feel full.
I feel full."
Blah 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 blah. But there's just a weird thing where you're then all of a sudden like, I'm involved and I didn't want to be involved. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yes, and I know, by the way, what I'm saying sounds verbose and sounds
I don't think so at all.
victim-y and
I don't think so.
sounds-
I think
This is
there's
safe space.
I think it's a full thing. I think
Yeah,
I
it's
truly
both sides.
And I know as someone who has lost weight and then gained weight, that like yo-yoed, there's a definite.
I used to sit on that side of the.
People are
funny.
weird. People and
They
you
treat
can
you
feel.
different.
People are like they're like, "Oh wow, this is the life." that
Did you
could-"
ever say anything weird? I knew someone in college where he was like he probably struggled to put on muscle. He was rail thin. But I remember like being more insecure about my weight, and he would be there being like, I just can't eat enough. He was out loud kind of overdoing it. And I remember I said to him like, hey, you gotta cut, because it made me feel bad and I didn't know how to talk about it.
I think people, no matter what your body shape is or how you associate food or working out or what your journey is, I hate that word journey. I think everyone, because you feel a bit alone in it, so people don't know how to express that. So people who are into weightlifting and into bodybuilding and into that world, they are surrounded by other people that are like-minded to them. I have to eat this much a day. I have to go to the gym this much a day. I have to get this much sleep. And they start to lose track that other people have a different lifestyle around them.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not saying it to be like catch up. They're saying it because they're saying I'm struggling and I'm involved in something that's overwhelming me.
Yeah. Yeah,
but
yeah,
people
yeah.
don't know how to communicate that.
Totally. Yeah,
I
that's a
think-
good point. Yeah.
I think, and I get to I don't know. I mean, I never felt comfortable. I had no hair. I was really skinny. I was broke. I lived in an attic above Sashir Zameda where I couldn't stand up all the way and had a mattress. It's like, so right.
it sounds like you were E.T.
I was E.T. and I had no home.
Wait, is it the same apartment as Zameda or
Me
no,
and
just-
Sashir lived in the same apartment with Ryan Beck, and I lived in the attic they built above her. And
They
so
built?
it was so it was like a Keebler Elf stairwell to it, and the ceiling only went up to 5 feet. I'm 5'9", and it slanted down to
oh
2.5
my
feet. So I had a bed and my clothes on the floor, and that's where I lived for a year. I loved it. I would always cook them dinner. But I think looks have been important for me because I just never felt good looking about how I felt. I never felt confident. And so I like going to the gym and having hair.
I'll see your pictures and I think there's the part of me where I go, how are you eating all this pasta?
I do eat pasta a lot.
I see every I figured my own things out, and now I didn't eat pasta for a very long time.
Yeah.
And I think there's this feeling I'm like, enough with the fucking pasta, dear Christ. But you really are eating so much pasta.
No,
or you're
as
at
of
least
late-
taking a picture of every time you do.
Yeah, that is throw it out. No, I do.
That Mariah Carey commercial, you ever see that one with the potato
Yeah,
chip?
she never ate it.
Oh my God, you ever see that?
No.
Yeah.
It's a whole commercial around her loving these chips, and then she gets this chip, and she goes like,
Oh,
No, she won't even eat it.
Yeah.
But I see a trainer. I go
He works
5 days a
out.
week.
Yeah.
I work out. I really watch my diet. So if I want to have carbonara once or twice a week, I
Sure.
will.
yeah.
I don't know. I know. But it's also weird when people talk to you about how you look, and then you feel judged, and then I feel like I have to explain myself. And then
Yeah.
as I'm explaining myself, I feel like I sound like an asshole. Like, there's no winning.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
No, there's
I
not.
feel better this way
Sure.
for me, and that's what I'm doing. And just let me have it. I don't do anything else.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, I would keep it to myself, but the podcast.
No. That's appropriate. I mean, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which
yeah,
one's
yeah.
carbonara?
Come on.
Come on,
Gianmarco.
Gianmarco
You know?
Soresi, come
You know?
on, yeah.
Which one?
You know the thing.
No. Do you have to guess? Una carbonara.
I'm thinking of the pictures that you've posted. It's not a flat. It's a noodle.
Ma che sta dicendo?
It's a
No, non la
wavy
pasta.
noodles?
Non è, no. The not the shape of the pasta, Carbonara is a dish.
Oh, it's a dish.
Right. So like fettuccine alfredo is a dish or lasagna is a dish.
Mm-hmm.
Well, lasagna is also noodle, but you know what I mean. So it's like what if you go to a restaurant and you order carbonara, what is it? So I was like, don't you dare help him.
Oh,
You know, right?
Yes.
Do you know? Okay, all right. I'm not alone here. As
Oh.
Bob the Drag Queen would say, am I in Staten Island or am I in Manhattan? Where am I right now? Where am I right now?
What is it? Is there chicken? Is there sauce?
Get out of here, John
I
Marco.
don't know.
Stop
I'm
it.
learning.
All right.
Sir-
It's the egg yolk and it's the yellow one that looks like it has bacon in it.
Okay.
But it's guanciale.
Okay.
But it's not bacon.
It's very good.
Wow, I'm so sorry. I really got Italian on
No,
you.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna learn.
Gonna go where?
I was a ravioli.
Oh,
I'm gonna go to
Italian.
literally Italy.
Where are you going- are you-
I'm
are
gonna
you
go to
in
Italy. Say,
Tova?
I'm here to learn about the carbonara.
Are you going to Rome?
We're going to Rome.
Oh, I have a list.
You send me.
Okay, good.
I got it.
Where are you staying? I should have sent you where you're staying as well. What neighborhood?
I'm
you
not
stay in.
sure.
Have you gotten a hotel yet?
I'm not sure.
Oh,
Oh,
Tova's. So Tova's planning out. Like,
we got a travel agent for the Europe.
well,
run.
you need to call them and tell them to change your location where you're staying in Rome.
Okay.
You need to stay in Campo di Fiori.
Campo di Fiore.
Yes.
Great.
You have this recorded now, so you have to go back and listen to it and say, change that. We need to stay somewhere in Campo di Fiori because you want to leave your hotel and be in the most picturesque part of Rome.
I will.
Amazing.
Let's go into our next segment. This has got to stop.
Oh, me.
This
in
has gotta
general.
stop.
This has got to stop. We have some. This has got to stops too. We can start off. You
Am
have
I
any-
doing
You go
okay?
first.
Am I funny? I
You're-
feel like I'm a bad
you're
guest
great.
right now.
Why do you?
No,
Why do you?
why?
What makes you feel
I'm
that way?
insecure. And then when I start talking about myself, my body, I start to feel like I sound verbose, like an asshole. So
You
I'm
do
so
not at
sorry if
all.
I
No,
do.
No, you
but that's
do not at all.
the goal of the show is to talk about.
All right.
It's a
No,
real
you did
thing.
great.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry if I'm cutting everybody off. I'm really bad at this.
You're not.
Why are you insecure about this?
I'm
no.
insecure about everything. I'm so sensitive
really?
and
Oh,
no.
anxious.
You
Yes.
You know that
I
you're.
cried at Folgers coffee commercial.
Do you when I first? I think like as a comic when I was younger, you're intimidating.
Me?
And I don't. Yeah.
No.
Yes. Yeah. You're intimidating. I don't mean that in a bad way.
Right.
I just mean like it's like I would be nervous. I still have a slight nerve. It's over, you know.
With
It
really
fades.
after all this time?
Yeah, we've never like had a cigarette together.
No, but we will.
Of course. You know, this always helps with a thing. But I think at the beginning it was just like you extremely talented in many different facets. And you know, I think it's also the seller, like you have a great seller community. Like you have so many friends at the cellar, and I think
Yeah.
when you're new there, it just feels like you'll be sitting at the comics table. It's been a long time since I've even been there, but you sit at the table and you feel like no one wants me here. That's me. That's in my head.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, yes, I understand with that. I understand. By association, I think I
You're like,
might seem intimidating.
Yeah, no one wants you.
No one wants you there.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you caught on.
Actually, yeah.
Problem solved.
Yeah.
I come there and I'm like, you guys hear about this carbonara thing? Anyone know what it is?
Keith would be like, get out of here.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
but
yeah.
like that's the thing is like I felt the same way when I first was past there.
Sure.
And people like Keith Robinson, Colin Quinn, I was so intimidated by that. Now me and Keith were basically dating. Like him and I get dinners together.
You know what felt good?
and-
I was gonna say so. I'll do my blessing early. So I was at Moon Tower, and I know Robert Kelly kind of, but I was in the gym. He was in the gym, talking about gigs, and he came over. I was doing my yoga stretches. I was doing a downward dog. He just grabbed me in a headlock and said, "Stop being so gay. Stop being so gay. Stop being so gay."
I want Bobby to know where's the camera. Bobby's saying that to himself.
Well, so then I saw him. He was doing like exercise with another guy in this little room. So I went up to my room. There was a condom there, and I brought it down to him, and I said, you know, for the
Very
two of
funny.
you.
Yeah,
And it just felt, it was like, but he was so nice. It's one of those things. I'm sure some of our sweeter listeners would go like, I can't believe he just said that to you. But I'm like, no, that was
it's-
love.
if
that
they-
was like, that was when I felt like, oh, you like me?
Some of the things Keith Robinson and I have said to each other are so horrible. I can't even repeat it. But it's love.
Yeah.
That is how you exchange love to those types of people. Do you see what I'm saying? So I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
the meaner you are, but if it still is smart,
Yeah.
they're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My this has got to stop. Wait,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
My this has got to stop. Oh my God, Russell,
I
you
know.
go.
No, I'm
No, I had one.
struggling too. 'Cause-
Matteo, if you have yours, you can start.
Let me see if I have my
I wrote
phone.
it down. Oh, here it is. Oh my God. Okay. Oh fuck me. Apartment hunting. I'm apartment hunting.
I could talk about
Okay,
that.
I got
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Fake. Okay, I love I love little prank videos. I love there's a trend right now where you'd get the waiter to like come over, you're at dinner with your family, and your dad's mid meal, and the waiter just takes the plate and walks away. And the
I
person
saw
is,
that.
oh, it's so delightful. But then there's these fucking
Fake pranks.
fake pranks, and it really reminds you. Acting is not easy.
Yeah.
And man, do I hate when I'm watching a prank video and I think it's going to be real, and you see the moment they get. There was like a coffee shop and they bring them a croissant that's this big.
Yeah.
And the person's like,
Yeah, very
And
like
you're like,
America's Funniest Home Video. Well, it's also too like not just the prank, but they do these videos like sad videos of like they set up these dumb sad stories to get extra likes. Like, look at this poor old woman
Yes.
who wasn't visited for her, and it's like, wait a minute, you know what I mean? No, the worst is fitness. The worst are the fitness guys who say my morning routine, and then they film themselves getting up out of bed. It's all to see how beautiful. By the way, not complaining. They're beautiful.
Sure.
But it's all just to see their ass or this or that. But they're like, I don't care how you brush your teeth, and I don't care how much you... And by the way, fitness men all seem to clean their homes a lot.
Yeah.
They get out of bed, they clean their homes, they open the shades slowly. I'm like, what is this? I get out of bed like I was just eaten alive by wolves.
Yeah, those routine videos of like anytime someone's showing their morning routine, it's so dark. It's like
It's dark.
It's so dark. There's something
and if you ever
so
see a
upsetting
video
about it.
if you ever see a video of them setting up the tripod at the grocery store to show that shot,
I know.
and you see like the camera element of it all, you're like, oh, it's very sad.
Yeah.
There's a prank though that I wish it was real. It's like it's a gym one where he's like the janitor and he's wearing like overalls so you can't see his body. But I think it's all fake. But he goes over and like he like, hey, could you hold this mop for a second? And he goes to a weightlifter and the mop's like super heavy and they've been deadlifting and they're huge. And he comes over and he's like, do you mind if I move this real quick? And they're like, good luck. And then he does it and they go, oh.
Yeah.
And some of them are real. And some of them are fucking fake.
But I think a lot of them are probably fake.
I know, but I wish it was real. That's so
Is that
cool.
your algorithm? Is you watch a lot of fake prank? Mine is all cooking. It's baking, cooking, and men's butts.
Yeah, we
and
definitely
Mariah
have
Carey. A lot of Mariah Carey.
Mariah Carey is the only thing we have in common with her
Yeah.
algorithm.
Yeah.
So yeah, do the prank for real.
Yeah.
Or get out of here. But I know it's the Facebook one. They're doing it with AI now, of course, these companies. But the picture, it was a little girl drawing a dad. It said, "Little girl draws a picture of her dead father, and nobody cares."
Well, she's
crying.
AI. I really don't care.
Mine, I would kind of closely, but this has got to stop. So Peacock will have like they have categories of things.
Sure.
And the categories are getting very specific and weird nowadays. But also they have these channels that you can like just stream like Dateline all the time. You know, you could go to the blah blah. So the other day I saw a commercial and they were promoting as part of the thing of like, now they're trying to be like more like, okay, this holiday comes up so we can promote this. So they were promoting for Mother's Day episodes of Dateline where mothers have been murdered and we're fighting back in defense of. They're like, so join us this Mother's Day where mothers fight back. And you're like, that is so fucked up to be like, that's what we're like. Someone thought there at Peacock, they were like, you know what? This will get people watching Peacock. It will, and I'm like, that is so gross.
Get your mother what she really wants to stay.
Yeah.
Proof
Murder.
that the killer. Yeah.
But one of the funniest things ever, me and my friend Nick laugh about this all the time, is Cola Scola did a video years ago where they do those like sort of murder, like true crime kind of thing, and they put this like really shitty blonde wig on, and they're being interviewed, and it's set up exactly like one of those shows, and they just go, so I saw him come to the office, and we were just chit-chatting, but I thought something about that didn't seem right. So I saw him later dragging a dead horse through the office, and I thought, okay, something's not adding up. You know, like, yeah. So I said to him, did you kill your sister? And he said yes, and I thought, something about that doesn't seem right. Yeah. Me and my friend Nick Smith say to each other all the time, something.
That is so funny.
And by the way,
when they interview those people, it always is the neighbors. The neighbors are always like, there was something weird about him, and you're like
something.
Yeah.
And then Cole, you have to watch it.
Yeah.
Cole even does for some. This is just because Cole's mind goes in places. Cole goes, so I decided to call my sister. And then all of a sudden, Cole's just in another wig.
My primary concern was for my sister and her CDs. I had CDs stolen out of my car years ago, and it took many years to replace them, and it was hell for me and my family. And that's how it ends.
So funny. Oh.
Have you seen Oh Mary with Cole?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my!
Yeah.
Have you
We
seen
went
Oh Mary?
together.
Oh my God! I saw it before it went on Broadway.
Us too, yeah.
And,
We did too.
Yeah.
Just
Crazy.
phenomenal.
So funny.
Could you be one of those roles? You think?
No, I don't have that kind of. I could never. I could probably play Mary's best friend because
that,
she just it's very like that's sort of me, like a bit insecure and trying to be sweet, always looking for the positive side. I could maybe
Sure.
kind of relate to doing that role, but to do Mary, I mean, just talk about no redeeming qualities. I think by every time they did a blackout, I turned to Nick. I said, "She still has no redeeming qualities. She's
It's really
just
great. And
monster."
it gets to that thing at the end, the cabaret. It's so funny. Oh,
It is just so good.
yeah.
Do you ever this got to stop?
This has got to stop. Yes, I do. I just, you know what? I was just talking about this with my friend Leo and Modi. And someone else, Phil Hanley and I were talking about this. Two things, because we fly all the time. If it's 5 o'clock in the morning or 6 o'clock in the morning and everyone's trying to sleep and you have a window seat, shut the fucking window.
Absolutely.
Shut the
Absolutely.
fucking window,
Absolutely.
you narcissistic piece of shit. Also, flight attendants, I love you. It's 6 a.m. I've had 2 hours of sleep. Why are you gossiping so loud up at the front? Phil Hanley was just talking to me about this.
Sure.
Modi
I'm
was
a
just
little
talking
further in
about
the
this.
back.
This.
But what
not
do they
me,
say?
not me and Keith Robinson. But because you sit up there, you're like, okay, I can finally get some sleep. First of all, they have 800 announcements about Delta. Thank you so much for flying Delta, and we want you to know. And it's like, I got it. I bought the ticket. I saw the sign.
Yeah.
I sat down. I watched the announcement. I don't need to
take
hear
what I've done
anymore
with-
about Delta.
I don't need the thank you for your time and status.
Don't thank me.
don't
You're
thank
all
us.
fucking monsters. No one wants
Yeah.
to be here. Let's
Thank you
move
for
this
thank
along.
Thank you for choosing. You're like choosing.
Thank you
for
so
your
much for
loyalty.
choosing
Thank you for your
Delta.
loyalty.
To, like,
loyalty.
you know, yeah.
Oh, I'm out of here.
I
the
would
second
kill
it's
you
cheaper.
if I. Yeah,
And it's like, I already know. I went on the website. I selected the Delta flight. I purchased the Delta ticket. I got to the airport. I checked in with Delta. I went to the Delta lounge. I showed up. I got on Group 1. I sat down. I watched it all. Everything says Delta. Why are you reminding me that we're on Delta?
Yeah.
Stop it already.
Stop.
Yeah.
My God.
You won. You
It's
won.
enough already.
You
and then
won.
to the fact that they have Wi-Fi for free on some planes and other
Oh,
planes.
the Wi-Fi's out of
It's
control.
totally-
Out of
we
control. And
talked
it'll
about
be
it.
$15
We talked
for
about
like a
it's
40-minute flight.
Yes, $21 to stream.
Yeah.
And it doesn't let you stream. I just want to watch the making of Zelda 2
And-
in peace, and I can't do it because I have to pay $21.
I've said
insane.
like there's some like United just you're not gonna have Wi-Fi. Like just like they should just stop saying that they're even gonna have it.
Yes.
You're not gonna
If the
have
Wi-Fi
it.
drops
It's not
more than
gonna
5
work. Just
minutes,
quit.
money back. Don't tell me I need to email them. Shut the fuck up. I need to email them.
One time I was flying to LA, and this is like maybe 3 years ago. So I was like, I'm gonna buy a first class seat, and you get all excited, and I don't really fly first class, yada yada.
Yeah.
And I get the old like all the seats were like salvaged from the Titanic. So I get there, and this is it going down. I press down, and it just.
Oh,
The TV's this big.
Yeah.
It's
Oh.
so used up that you
Yeah.
can't see through it. And then it doesn't work. And luckily I had this gay flight attendant, shocker, and he came over and he was so nice. He was like, girl, I don't even know why we're still using these flights. Like, let's just get the fuck out. Like, he just immediately sent me
Okay, but
30,000
you are-
miles.
How did flight attendants become a gay profession? Like, why is that a thing? Because it's something, of course, you notice.
Gossip. You just
think
a place
so?
you can gossip. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's all they're doing at 6 o'clock in the morning. Oh my God, this flight. Well, I was telling Joanne today, I'm sleeping.
Yeah. Let's go to our final segment.
Your blessing.
That was
that's so lovely. Wow.
I think I scratched myself. Sorry.
Oh,
all right,
no.
go ahead. I'm listening.
Do you have a blessing?
Yeah, my blessing today is former podcast guest, friend of the pod, Ian Carmel. writes for the Tonight Show, and he thought, he wrote a very funny bit, and they threw out my name, and he was like, "Oh, I know Russell," and so because of him, I got to go and do this thing today. It was really
exciting.
really fun. Thank you, Ian.
Second time in this month. It's the second time he's done something.
Yeah,
and
so-
I'm like, you're like,
should make you a
becoming little
regular.
ensemble.
Well, let's see, but hopefully, I think it'll stay in. It was in the first 3 minutes
yes.
of the monologue. So
If you become Jimmy's Andy,
yeah,
I will be. That'll be tough. That'll be tough.
Oh yeah,
But
but anyway, so shout out to Ian. Thank you.
That's very exciting.
Yeah.
I'm really proud of you, buddy.
So this is like our rose and thorn segment. My cousins do this with their kids.
Yes.
Oh, they do.
What's your
This
rose?
is like
What's
a
your
nice
thorn?
thing.
And everyone goes around and says what their rose and their thorn is.
Yeah. But we
Okay.
invented it.
We invented this.
My blessing. I go to this yoga studio, ID Yoga, hot yoga, and I have a teacher who I've been seeing for a while. And they come up and been there a couple of years because I saw this is how they came up to me. They said, "Oh my God, I saw your joke about Israel Palestine," and then I went down a wormhole and I was like, "At the yoga studio, you got to whisper here?" And
Yeah.
I guess so.
Yeah.
But it was very nice. It's just a teacher who's very good, and then it's like it always turns up the heat really hot, but said that, he likes my handstands and so my comedy, and it's nice. It's someone I've seen for a while
Yeah.
to suddenly know a little more about you, and it's someone that you like.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Nice.
Thank you, Aaron Kane. Great teacher. ID Yoga. Do you have a blessing?
I have to think of a blessing from today, yeah?
No, it could be
anything
anytime.
recent.
You
I'll
try.
just do today because you guys are doing recent stuff.
Yeah.
You know what's so funny? Just back on the hair topic, I never was able to go to like a barber shop and just chill out with like one of the guys.
Yeah.
And now I go to this barber shop in the West Village, and pretty much everyone's Dominican and like one gay barber. And barber shops are so intimidating. But now like I go in and like everyone's like, "Hey, ¿qué tal, Mateo? ¿Cómo está?" Like we just gossip, we speak Spanish, like we joke, and I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm like at a barber shop and it's normal."
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool.
I think they do a good job of barbershops in New York. I feel like they all feel pretty local. Like they bring you drinks sometimes.
Yeah, they always ask me for whiskey. I'm like, it's
Yeah.
11 a.m.
They always.
Yeah,
I go to
yeah.
a very Jewish guy, and he always
Yeah.
with the vodka, and he takes a shot with me too. And I go, "Surely you've been doing a couple
No,
of these
I-
before you got to my neck."
Yeah. No, I can't. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Whiskey. Ugh.
Well, Matteo, where can everyone find you?
You can watch my special on Hulu May 16th or Disney Plus, and you can follow me online at Matteo Lane everything.
Great. And you got a podcast right now, right?
Yes, with Nick Smith. It's called I Never Liked You, and I don't like Nick.
Amazing.
I don't like him at all.
Really?
He's a nightmare.
Wow.
The bane of my existence, my cross to bear. We talk 7 times a day.
Like us, buddy.
Yeah.
What's your not blessing? Where can people find you?
At Russell J. Daniels on Instagram, and then come see me in the Imaginary Invalid until June 29th, and then come see Ginger Twinsies off Broadway at the Orpheum Theater starting in mid-July.
Very exciting. Everywhere at Gianmarco Soresi. Please, I didn't plug it before, join the Patreon, patreon.com/downside. 2 bonus episodes every month, and one of our live episodes every month.
And you can watch my new documentary called Liza. I never did drugs.
And, with we didn't play our theme music this time, but it ends with him going, "The downside." And it's very low, but I'm sure you could do lower.
The downside.
Whoa.
This is the downside.
You're listening to The Downside
The downside.
with Gianmarco Soresi.